You stand at the gates of an unseen battlefield, and the enemy is no distant general, but the whisper of self-doubt in your mind. That hesitation, that second-guessing, is the assassin that lurks in the shadows. Every moment spent unsure is ground seeded. You feel invisible, quieted by the world, dismissed, but that silence, that is your signal to arm yourself. Recognize the still doubting voice that says you aren't enough. That voice is your first adversary. Silent cunning, it waits for your guard to slip. You do not merely vanquish it, you conquer it. Now shift your gaze outward. Power is a game of observation. A general surveys terrain before ordering the charge. The wise warrior notes who truly holds sway in every room, in every nuance and gesture, who bends conversation with their gaze, whose words command the room even when unspoken. That awareness is not passive, it is a sharpened blade. Know your terrain before you make your advance. Let your enemies, invisible or not, reveal themselves. You do not fight blind. Every slight, every passing disregard is not inconsequential. These moments are signals, trapdoors, or footholds. Someone fails to look you in the eye. Are they despising you, or are they unaware of your growing influence? A compliment is offered casually. Is it sincere or a ploy? Fail to read these cues, and your presence vanishes into background noise. Obscurity is not neutrality, it is surrender. To stay unseen is to invite others to shape your fate. You are already in the fray. Your own hesitation is the opening volley. Every unobserved nuance is a weakness your challenger can exploit. To stand still is to yield. You must act. Silence your inner saboteur. Elevate your observation into a weapon. Treat every slight as a clue, not a casualty. Stall not. Survey your world, then strike. Master the battlefield within, and no force outside can dethrone you. Mantra: conquer the silence, command the world. All courses of action are risky. Prudence lies not in avoiding danger, but in calculating risk and acting decisively. You sit upon a throne forged not of gold, but of your own mind. That throne is the seat of all power you will ever wield. If your thoughts are scattered, every distraction becomes a battering ram against your authority. Discipline is your fortress. Focus your ramparts. Without these defenses, the smallest whim, a craving for comfort, a stray social notification breaches your walls and pulls you from command. Imagine yourself in the hushed corridors of your own consciousness, an inner palace under siege. Every doubt whispered in your ear, every justification that sways you from your mission is not harmless. It is the infiltrator. You must guard every stone of your citadel, sharpen your concentration, reinforce every mental bulwark. Discipline becomes your sword, focus your shield. Reality bows to those who craft perception. A ruler who owns his perception owns the world around him. Those who control their thoughts steer the current of influence. Think of how a sharp mind in a meeting commands attention, never shouting, yet controlling the narrative with perceptive questions. Unspoken cues, calculated silences. That is the throne's power to project authority from conviction, not noise. In modern life, where every claim to attention is a battleground, thought mastery defines real influence. Social media swirls with distractions designed to fracture your focus. Yet, those who see clearly, who measure before they engage, move like predators in silence. They strike with precision. They win not because they roar, but because they think you must do the same. Let being controlled by impulse be the act of the defeated, not the ruler. If your mind remains unruled, you become a puppet to every passing feeling, every external nudge. Fear, doubt, envy, they tug at your strings. You stumble, reactive, at the whim of circumstance. That is weakness, and weakness invites manipulation. By contrast, the disciplined mind is a lone general on the field, unmoved by storms, unmoved by mirages. It issues commands. It shapes the battlefield. It molds allies and defeats opposition with calm authority. Your inner palace is the seat of power. Build it, fortify it, command from it. Shape your perception into armor. Refuse to surrender your mind to chaos, emotion, or external forces. Dominate your mental territory, and everything else becomes subject to your rule. The cost of failure: a life led by impulses, by others, by circumstances, not by strategy or self. The reward: sovereignty over your own reality, clarity in action, influence without force. Rule your mind, command your world. It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles. The morning is your battlefield, and the first light is your call to arms. The weak roll over and beg for comfort. The strong rise and strike. Those first moments after waking determine whether you seize the throne of the day or surrender it to chaos. You may think the battle begins later, when emails flood in, when obligations press down, but no. The battle begins the moment your eyes open. To hesitate then is to begin already defeated. The first strike belongs to ritual. Every act you perform upon rising is either a weapon in your hand or a chain around your neck. Exercise sharpens the body into armor. Meditation quiets the noise and clears your battlefield. Planning maps your terrain so you never march blind. These are not small habits. They are war strategies. A general does not send troops forward without scouting the land, without sharpening weapons, without order in the ranks. Why then should you meet your day without structure? Those who stumble aimlessly into their morning are cut down before the real fight even begins. Think of time as territory. Every hour is land, and someone will claim it. If you do not seize it, another will. Sleep too long, scroll too long, wander too long, and you surrender ground without a fight. By the time you stand ready, your enemies, competition, obligations, distractions have already fortified their positions. They hold the high ground because you yielded it in silence. Understand this truth. Control the morning, and you deny them that high ground. Let your morning be your invasion, not your retreat. But the fiercest enemy in the early hours is not outside you. It is desire. The seductive voice whispering, "Stay warm, stay comfortable, stay small." That voice is the traitor within your camp. It promises pleasure, but robs you of power. To obey it is to feed weakness. Every warrior knows that the sweetest comforts in the short term often lead to ruin in the long term. The bed is soft, but so is defeat. Victory belongs to those who can deny the lure of ease and embrace discipline as their companion. When you rise with purpose, you remind yourself that command does not come to those who wait. It comes to those who act. Modern life only intensifies this truth. The world is designed to seize your attention the moment you wake. Notifications, messages, headlines, each one a raiding party breaching your gates. If you allow your phone to dictate your first thoughts, you no longer sit on the throne of your mind. You are already a subject in someone else's kingdom. Yet if you begin your morning with sovereignty, if you dictate the first moves, you seize momentum. That momentum multiplies, turning hours into victories, victories into campaigns. Fail in the morning, and the rest of the day becomes salvage, a desperate scramble to regain what you gave away. Succeed in the morning, and the day bends to your will. Each task conquered in order, each challenge faced with composure. You cannot control all that will come, but you can control how you march into it. And power respects preparation. Wake with intent. Strike at first light. Treat every morning as your battlefield, and you will no longer drift through life. You will command it. Conquer the morning. Command the day. All courses of action are risky. Prudence lies not in avoiding danger, but in calculating risk and acting decisively. You are a silent sniper in a field of noise. Stillness is your hidden weapon. Speak less. Observe more. In the hush, you gather every nuance, every unspoken shift. That patience, that watchful calm, is lethal, like the disciplined assassin waiting in the shadows. You strike only when certainty aligns with opportunity. The rest is wasted breath and broken aim. Silence is your reconnaissance. A general never storms the battlefield without mapping the terrain. You do not charge into conversations, emotions, or conflict without first understanding the lay of the land. In that quiet, you learn the ambitions masked by smiles, the fear behind composed faces, the shifting alliances in the corners of every room. Stay silent. Watch. Let others reveal their hand before you move. Patience is power incarnate. Every moment you wait is a moment of control. You are not in a hurry. You are poised. Modern life demands urgency, but the true strategist knows that haste is the enemy of victory. Waiting, calculating, timing, this is mastery over time and over everyone else. Think of high-stakes negotiations in business or politics. The one who speaks first often loses control. The one who waits, assesses, then delivers the blow with precision, wins. You do not react, you await. Then you strike. Calm is your camouflage. Emotional volatility is a weakness that draws fire, but stillness is your armor. The composed move confuses the opponent, making them stumble. They expect fury. You deliver quiet authority. A predator doesn't roar before the kill. They wait. They observe. Then they act. Your calm unsettles those around you. It honors you as much as your action and unpredictability. It is sovereignty in social warfare. Imagine walking into a boardroom. The chatter fills the air. Most people lean in, trying to dominate with voice. You sit back, silent. Your eyes scan. You wait, and when the moment is right, you speak, softly and precisely. The room leans in. Every word lands like a blade, exactly where it needs to. They felt safe. You have controlled the entire narrative with a whisper, not a shout. The stakes are high. Speak blindly, and you empower your rivals. Let impatience push you forward, and you fall into traps. React in anger, and you expose your weaknesses. But silence, patience, composure, these let you shape the battlefield without giving away your plans. Even in a world designed for constant noise, social media, 24/7 updates, the urge to react, you can choose to stand apart. You can master the moment before anyone else enters the fight. Command the silence. Let it work for you. Strike from stillness. That is how empires are won. Not through bluster, but through precision, patience, and hidden strength. Stillness is strength. Strike in silence. All courses of action are risky. Prudence lies not in avoiding danger, but in calculating risk and acting decisively. You rule the battlefield of your life, or you are ruled by it. To hold the throne, you must prune the rotting branches. Distractions, false alliances, the dead weight of toxic habits, they are parasites. They sap your ambition, drain your energy, and weaken your grip on power. A tree that is not pruned falls under its own weight. You must cut deeply, without hesitation. Recognize the parasites. They're the whisperers in your ear, telling you you're not ready. The friend who constantly complains about their own life, the project that never reaches completion. These invisible leeches erode your sovereignty. They masquerade as comfort or loyalty, but their only purpose is to tether you. Identify them. Withdraw your blood from their veins. A general knows hesitation is death. In the heat of war, a mere second of delay gives your enemy time to regroup, to reclaim lost ground. Likewise, the moment you waver, your obstacles gain strength. You must act decisively. Silence the internal battleground. The indecisive never rule. They serve. Strike now. Remove what dims your flame. Let no regret slow your blade. But understand, sacrifice is sovereignty. Letting go cuts deep, ending alliances, quitting familiar comforts, abandoning long-held plans. These are painful, but power demands it. You cannot nurture a withering vine without letting it break away. The ascent to the throne demands sacrifice. It is the price of mastery. Imagine a battlefield after the cleaning of one's ranks. The remaining troops stand sharper, stronger, more focused. In your life, this looks like clarity. After clearing distractions, energy redirected toward the worthy battles, presence restored to the throne of your mind. What was once chaos becomes order. You are no longer drowning, you command the tide. Modern life offers endless parasites, the mindless scroll, the cynical circle of complaining friends, the low-risk side projects that never materialize. Every one of them spreads like rot. You must purge them. Your throne demands subjects whose loyalty contributes, who challenge and elevate, not who drag you into complacency. The stakes are high. Fail to eliminate the weak roots, and your whole structure collapses beneath the strain. Every wasted minute is territory ceded. Every compromised value is a breach in your walls. Ignore the parasites, and your ambition dies in silence. Instead, stand hardened. Identify the drain. Sever decisively. Accept the sting of sacrifice for the clarity of power. Those who prune wisely flourish. Those who hesitate decay. Cut the weak, rule the strong. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. You wear a mask of power before you even whisper your first command. In the court of influence, perception is your throne. If you lack the image, your authority dissolves. Your gestures, your stance, your tone, they are weapons in social warfare. Think of a leader entering a boardroom, each step measured, spine straight, gaze unyielding. That posture is your armor. Let their gaze flicker uncertainly. Claim the room before you speak. In daily life, your appearance is your first battlefront. Dress not out of vanity, but as preparation for conflict. Wear armor that instills respect and sets boundaries. Your voice, calm, precise, unwavering, is more powerful than any shout. Command through presence before command through words. Then comes controlled vulnerability, an act as calculated as any attack. Let a sliver of humanity slip through, a paused smile, an admission of uncertainty in private. That twist disarms others. They lean in, they reveal. You gain their trust, and you gain the advantage. The predator knows. Showing weakness invites exactly the wrong sort of responses. But a glimpse, carefully offered, lets the opponent drop their shield. Craft your persona as if forging a blade. This is not deception, it is design. At every choice, how you walk, how you speak, how you hold yourself, you sculpt perception. You are not merely yourself. You are a commander wearing a crafted presence. The board sees composure. The skeptic sees confidence. The doubters fall silent. In modern arenas, online or off, false softness is an invitation. A weak stance in body, speech, or posture invites negotiation, undermines your presence. But a figure disciplined in appearance radiates authority. You don't ask for attention, It seeds to you. Every email, every conversation, every public moment should reinforce that armor of influence. The cost of inconsistency is high. Reveal raw anger, slump in posture, let tone falter. Your opponent smells weakness like blood in the water, but when poise is unwavering, they hesitate, unsure where to strike. Your mask is not falsehood, it's control. Master your image. Let your posture be the first chord of your strategy. Show vulnerability, but on your terms. Craft the persona that dominates your world. Fail to, and you sit empty-handed on a throne no one respects. Succeed, and you don't just hold power, you become its embodiment. Wear your power. Shape their view. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Inside you, there lives an assassin. Not the dagger-wielding kind of stories and shadows, but a force sharper, colder, and far more dangerous, the inner executioner of your own weakness. This assassin is not born from cruelty, but from necessity. Power cannot be handed to someone who cannot control themselves, so you must become your own enforcer, your own silent killer, striking against every habit, hesitation, and indulgence that undermines your rule. Your first target is yourself. Every ruler who lost his throne began his downfall not from enemies outside the gates, but from decay within. Self-doubt, procrastination, indulgence. They are traitors living under your roof, eating at your table. To tolerate them is treason against your future. The assassin within you must eliminate them with surgical precision. If sloth drags you back into bed when dawn calls, cut it down. If distraction poisons your focus, sever it. If fear whispers hesitation in your ear, silence it with decisive action. Every weakness left alive becomes an assassin waiting to strike you instead. A disciplined killer does not swing wildly. He chooses his moment, his target, his method. So too must you strike at your flaws with strategy, not impulse. Don't attempt to destroy everything at once. That is chaos. Instead, identify the single habit, the one crack in your fortress wall, and destroy it utterly. Replace it with something sharper, stronger, disciplined. When Caesar crossed the Rubicon, he did not march in scattered confusion. He made one decision that could not be undone. That is how you must act against yourself. Cold, clear, irreversible. But the true assassin knows silence is its greatest ally. You need not announce your war on yourself. Do not parade your resolutions. Do not trumpet your changes. Move in the shadows. Execute silently. Each time you resist the urge to explain yourself, you preserve power. Each time you improve in private, you sharpen a blade unseen. The world will see only the results, never the blood spilled behind the curtain. In war, the deadliest strike is the one your enemy never saw coming. In life, the deadliest version of you is the one no one expected. You may appear calm, ordinary, predictable, but within, you are enforcing law with ruthless consistency. You cut away weakness before it grows roots. You remove indulgence before it metastasizes into mediocrity. You assassinate hesitation before it strangles opportunity. That is power, to be underestimated outwardly, but unstoppable inwardly. The cost of failing to train your inner assassin is nothing less than your sovereignty. If you leave your weaknesses alive, they will one day gather in secret, rise up in rebellion, and overthrow you from within. But when you live as your own enforcer, when you kill your lesser selves one by one, you become untouchable. No enemy can exploit what you have already destroyed. No temptation can sway a man who has murdered desire with discipline. You must think like a ruler and strike like a predator. The assassin within you is not cruelty. It is clarity. It is the ruthless devotion to the empire you are building. Every time you eliminate a weakness, you strengthen your throne. Every time you execute hesitation, you secure your crown. Every time you move in silence, you tighten your grip on destiny. So sharpen your dagger. Make your mind the battlefield. Hunt the traitors that live inside you. Kill without hesitation and rebuild without mercy. Do this, and you will rule not only your life, but yourself. Strike the weakness. Rule the self. Men should be either treated generously or destroyed, because they take revenge for slight injuries, for heavy ones they cannot. Inside you lives a beast. Not the tame house dog society tells you to become, but a wolf, hungry, restless, and dangerous. This wolf is your ambition, your aggression, your instinct for survival. Left starving, it grows weak and cowardly. Fed recklessly, it becomes savage, tearing apart everything you've built. But when you feed it with discipline, when you train it to hunt with precision, it becomes your most loyal weapon in the war for power. Hunger is the first law of the wolf. The wolf that is full forgets how to hunt. The wolf that is starving becomes desperate and sloppy. You must keep your hunger sharp, alive, always just a step from starvation. That means never letting yourself grow comfortable. Comfort is poison. Every empire collapses when its rulers grow soft, when hunger dies in their bones. So you must feed your wolf daily, not with laziness, not with indulgence, but with challenges. Set goals that stretch you. Surround yourself with reminders of what you haven't achieved yet. Look at the throne you want, the empire you haven't built, and let the hunger burn. But hunger without direction is chaos. A wolf without a pack, without a target, turns on itself. That is what happens when your aggression is uncontrolled. You burn bridges, sabotage relationships, destroy opportunities before they can mature. Power requires control. Controlled aggression is a siege engine, battering down walls, not scattering your forces in all directions. When you feel anger, don't waste it in shouting matches or petty fights. Channel it. Pour it into training, into strategy, into action. When a rival provokes you, do not bark back like a street dog. Turn the insult into fuel for victory, so that your success becomes the only answer. And remember, there is more than one predator inside you. There is the patient wolf who waits, who tracks, who chooses the right moment to strike. There is also the reckless wolf who wants blood now, who howls at shadows, who leaps too soon and falls into traps. Both live in you. If you starve your fire completely, you grow weak, timid, prey to stronger hunters. If you feed it without restraint, you lose reason and destroy yourself. The art of power is to balance the predators within. Know when to let hunger push you forward, and when to leash it until the right moment arrives. In the modern world, you see this balance everywhere. The entrepreneur who keeps hunger alive will outlast the one who cashes out too early and grows fat on comfort. The fighter who channels aggression into training becomes a champion, while the one who loses his temper in the ring is knocked out by his own recklessness. Even in politics, the leader who feeds ambition wisely gains ground steadily, while the one consumed by greed devours allies and ends alone. The stakes are absolute. If you do not master the wolf masters you. If you starve it, you live a life of quiet desperation, pretending to be tame, envying the strong while dying inside. If you overfeed it, you burn in chaos, feared for a moment but forgotten in ruin. But if you feed it correctly, you walk with a weapon no one can take from you. A wolf that hunts for you, not against you. A fire that burns for your crown, not your destruction. So feed your wolf, but feed it wisely. Give it hunger, but give it purpose. Let it snarl at weakness, but never at you. Train it, sharpen it, keep it lean, and unleash it only when victory demands blood. That is how you conquer, by mastering the beast within before you master the battlefield without. Feed the wolf, but never let it feed on you. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Life unfolds across a chessboard, each person, relationship, decision, and resource, a piece waiting to be deployed in the pursuit of power. Your allies, adversaries, instincts, everything has a role. To master life, you must think beyond the next move. You must command the strategy that spans years. Every opponent is not merely an obstacle, they are data. Understand them. Read their desires, their patterns, their blind spots. Foresee their plays before they make them. In chess, anticipating an opponent's move is the difference between checkmate and sacrifice. In life, it's the line between dominance and downfall. You don't react, you predict, and you cut them off before they become threats. Yet, no conquest comes without sacrifice. Even a grandmaster will sacrifice a pawn or a knight if it sets up control of the board. In life, that means giving up short-term comforts or safe choices to secure a position of influence. Every time you replace a bad relationship, a toxic habit, or a low-value pursuit with a more strategic one, you're moving your pieces with intent. Let small losses shift the battle in your favor. Let sacrifice become leverage. But the true warrior knows this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. Instant gains are illusions. The rook's slow march across the board, the pawn's improbable advance to promotion, these are reminders that true power plays are measured in years, not hours. History is littered with rulers who won battles, but lost the war because they prioritized immediate victory over lasting dominion. Think centuries, not seasons. In modern life, you see this in the visionaries who build empires quietly, bit by bit, while the impulsive shout from rooftops fade into obscurity. The entrepreneur who scales tightly, the philosopher who outthinks the mob, the critic who shapes dialogue subtly, all understand that the board you control today is nothing compared to the one you build over time. The stakes are unforgiving. Misread your opponent, and you lose your king. Refuse to sacrifice what's necessary, and your influence stalls. Mistake the short term for mastery, and you become a pawn in someone else's legacy. Instead, be the grand master of your life. Survey every relationship, every resource, every risk. Sacrifice what holds you back. Build patiently. Think 3 decades ahead. Move with purpose. Rule with strategy. Play the long game. Master the board. Discipline enables a city or an army to endure adversities, just as the proper organization of militias leads to good governance in states. Rituals are the battle drills of your inner army. They forge iron will through repetition, through hardship, and through unwavering order. Every dawn you rise, every small act you repeat, these are not habits, they are weapons. If the greatest generals depend on drills to shape soldiers, then rituals shape you, the warrior of your own life. Each morning you endure the burn of cold water, the ache of tired muscles, the urge to linger in comfort. You're not merely performing a routine, you're testing your strength. In those silent, disciplined moments, you train resilience. One push-up when every muscle screams, "Stop," is a declaration. You endure, you persist. You build strength, not just in your body, but in your resolve. Small test compound. Today's breath, held under pressure, becomes tomorrow's unshakable calm. Pain is the crucible of power. The easy path whispers lies of safety. Comfort is its lure. But great leaders don't yield to ease. They endure, they push through. The discomfort of a cold hour at the keyboard, the strain of finishing something when your spirit fades. These are the drills that cultivate will. Look at firefighters who train by running into heat and chaos, or athletes who train through exhaustion. Their mastery isn't born from ease, it is forged in the fire. And consistency. It is not a habit, it is dominion. Each repetition lays another brick in your fortress of will. The monk who prays daily, the writer who opens the blank page every morning, their power grows silently, steadily. Their will becomes a bastion. When chaos attacks, they stand solid, not because of luck, but because their rituals have built unshakable authority over mind and circumstance. Modern science confirms what warriors and rulers have always known. Studies like the famous marshmallow test prove that willpower, the ability to delay gratification, predicts success across decades. Rituals give your will structure. They turn discipline into automatic defense. They make self-control second nature. The stakes are absolute. Without ritual, chaos seeps into your life. You bend to every distraction, every impulse. You drift. But with it, you stand. Your mind becomes disciplined terrain. Your actions inevitable. Your resolve unbreakable. Make a ritual that tests you daily. Endure what others avoid. Repeat until repetition becomes armor. Let discomfort be your forge. Build your will into iron. Forge through ritual. Command through discipline. It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles. Untouchable. That is what you must become. A fortress without cracks. A general whose army is invisible yet everywhere. A sovereign whose presence bends the air before a single word is spoken. When every principle converges, discipline, strategy, ruthlessness, ritual, you no longer chase power, you embody it. Mastery of self is the first conquest, and it is the hardest. Machiavelli warned that those who cannot rule themselves are easily ruled by others. If your impulses own you, if your fears dictate your moves, then you are already defeated before battle begins. But when you master your emotions, when you stand in the storm without trembling, you project a command that no one can counterfeit. Influence flows naturally from such mastery. The court listens, the room pauses, even your silence becomes a weapon. Picture the battlefield of life as a chessboard. The weak scramble to guard pawns, reacting to every move. The untouchable anticipates 10 steps ahead. They sacrifice not out of desperation, but out of calculation. Their preparation is so deep, their strategy so fluid, that opponents find themselves trapped before they even realize they've begun to play. Invincibility is not the absence of threat. It is the constant discipline of anticipation, the art of neutralizing dangers before they strike. Modern warfare proves it. Nations that dominate are not always the largest. They are the ones with intelligence networks that see before others see, that act before others act. A drone overhead, a silent cipher broken, a move anticipated. Power belongs to those who prepare endlessly. In your own life, this means rehearsing challenges before they arrive. An entrepreneur who has prepared for economic collapse will not fall when the market shatters. A leader who has already faced betrayal in their mind is ready when it arrives in flesh. And then there is the aura. Authority is not a costume, it is an atmosphere. You have seen it before, the one who enters a room and instantly changes its temperature. Eyes turn not because of what they wear, but because of the weight of their will. Their movements are measured, their words deliberate. You cannot fake this. It is earned through the iron repetition of self-command, through scars hidden beneath the armor of composure. The aura of control is a crown that cannot be stolen. It is sensed before it is tested. Understand this. To be untouchable is not to be invulnerable. It is to make every attempt against you futile. Like water, you flow around obstacles. Like steel, you endure direct blows. Like shadow, You move unseen until the moment of strike. The untouchable cannot be manipulated because they recognize every hand reaching for the strings. They cannot be intimidated because they have already slain their inner fears. They cannot be rushed because their pace is sovereign. The stakes are total. If you fail to become untouchable, you will be bent, swayed, and broken by forces outside your control. Employers, lovers, governments, enemies, distractions. But if you rise, if you harden your will, sharpen your mind, and discipline your instincts, you will move through life like a general whose army is everywhere at once, feared yet respected, challenged yet undefeated. The path is ruthless, but the reward is absolute. Master yourself, command the world, become untouchable. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Now you arrive at the apex, the culmination of all the battles fought within your own walls. The throne within your mind has been seized, defended, and expanded. The assassin within you has struck down weakness. The wolf has been fed, not starved, not overgrown, but sharpened. The chessboard has been mastered, pawns and queens sacrificed for dominion. And now, at this climax, all 10 principles converge. This is the final form, the supreme strategist. Think of it as a great army, once scattered and disorganized, now united under one general. Stillness, ruthlessness, ritual, aura, and will, all once separate weapons, now fuse into a single war machine. Your patience is the shield, your aggression is the sword, your discipline is the armor, your foresight is the spy. You are no longer just a player on the board of life, you are the architect of the board itself. Machiavelli wrote that fortune is a river, violent, unpredictable, overflowing. The fool builds fragile homes on its banks and is swept away. The strategist builds dikes, channels, and gates. He cannot stop the flood, but he bends its course. That is your power now. You do not wait for storms to pass. You redirect them into engines of your conquest. Where others drown in chaos, you sail on its currents. Synthesis of the principles means you move through conflict differently than ordinary men. The weak react, the mediocre improvising. But you anticipate, you shape outcomes before they exist. When insulted, you choose silence, not out of fear, but because silence can wound more deeply than retaliation. When betrayed, you do not collapse, you mark the betrayer, cut ties swiftly, and use the scar as a lesson in vigilance. When opportunity appears, you are not surprised. You have already prepared the ground where opportunity would grow. This is what it means to transcend ordinary conflict. Life is no longer a street fight where you swing blindly. It is not even a chess match where you defend and attack. Life becomes orchestration. You place each note deliberately until even dissonance sounds like harmony in your symphony of control. History proves it. Julius Caesar crossing the Rubicon was not a rash act. It was a move prepared by years of alliances, debts, and silent patience. Napoleon did not rise because of luck. He combined iron will, endless preparation, and ruthless strikes at moments others hesitated. Even in modern warfare, the most dominant powers are those that unify intelligence, technology, and discipline into one seamless force. Power always belongs to the strategist who integrates every principle into one living system. And that is what you must become. The embodiment of power itself. No more separation between identity and practice. You don't act disciplined. You are disciplined. You don't play at ruthlessness. You wield it like a surgeon's knife. You don't imitate aura. You radiate it through scars earned and battles won. Mastery is no longer something you practice. Mastery is who you are. This transformation demands a price. You will sacrifice comfort. You will sacrifice the false security of ordinary life. You will carry weight others cannot bear, but in return, you will live untouchable. Where others bow to pressure, you stand. Where others are manipulated, you bend the manipulators to your will. Where others live and die as pawns, you carve your legacy as the player who controlled the game itself. And now the stakes are clear. If you fail to unify your principles, you will remain fractured, sometimes disciplined, sometimes weak, sometimes ruthless, sometimes indulgent, forever inconsistent, forever conquered by the tides of life. But if you rise, if you merge all that you have learned, you will embody the throne within. You will no longer need to chase power, because you will have become its source. This is the final form. Not a man, not a beast. A strategist, a sovereign, a force of nature cloaked in human skin. Order the chaos, command the game. Become the supreme strategist. It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles. Now the throne is yours, but the war is never over. Power is not a crown you wear once. It is a battlefield you must reclaim every day. Each morning you rise, the battle resumes. Your mind will test you, your impulses will attack. The world will attempt to drag you back into mediocrity. If you do not seize authority over yourself, the enemy seizes it for you. Mastery is not a final conquest. It is a daily campaign. That is the essence of command. Reclaiming authority again and again. Think of the general who wins one decisive battle, but grows complacent. His soldiers weaken, his discipline rots, and soon his empire collapses from within. Victory one day means nothing if tomorrow you wake as a coward. You cannot afford to sleep on your throne. You must rise and fight for it. Every choice is a sword stroke. Every action is a fortification. Either you rule your day, or your day rules you. This is why the modern strategist lives by mantra. Not words of comfort, but words of command. Control yourself, command others, dominate circumstances, repeat it until it becomes blood in your veins. When temptation strikes, you hear it. When doubt creeps, you hear it. When fear surrounds you, the mantra cuts through like a war horn. You are not drifting like the masses, you are commanding. Look around you today. Most people surrender their authority before the first shot of battle. They wake, reach for distraction, and give their time to someone else's empire. They scroll, consume, obey. Their power bleeds out silently. But you, if you hold fast, you transform every ordinary moment into a test of sovereignty. Waking early becomes a declaration of war. Saying no becomes an act of rule. Building habits becomes the raising of armies. What others call routine, you know as strategy. And then comes the legacy. Power is never only for the moment. It is for tomorrow. The strategist sees beyond the horizon. Caesar crossed the Rubicon, not only to win a battle, but to shape Rome's destiny. Alexander did not endure hardship only to claim lands, but to leave an empire that echoed for centuries. In the same way, your self-mastery is not only for you, it reverberates into generations. Every time you command yourself, you plant the seeds of a throne that outlives you. The stakes are absolute. You either live as a sovereign, or you die as a servant. There is no middle ground. Ordinary choices become the crucible where empires are built or lost. So rise, strategist. Seize your mind, shape your world, expand your power until no obstacle dares to stand before you. Control self, command others, dominate circumstances.